Back in studio, and damn it, I am fired up. So the final two GM candidates for the Minnesota Vikings was not that long ago. Kwesi Adofo Mensah versus Ryan Poles. And my personal preference at the time was Poles, but I was good with it either way. Ryan Poles, Chicago swooped in, picked him up at the airport, had a big-ass smile on his face, video circulating all around. Damn, he's going to the Bears, isn't he? We ended up with Kwesi Adofo Mensah. All right, cool. And I know that the season hasn't started for either of these first-time GMs, but right now the Vikings are clearly winning this battle, and I've been very critical of Cam in the sense that analytic folks tend to overthink things, which leads to them tripping over themselves, which has been the case for him in moments, but you cannot question Cam's intentions behind the madness. Take away the goofy process of Kwesi Adofo Mensah and just focus on the results. What was the number one area that needed to be addressed this offseason? The defense. Signed Zadarius Smith, Harrison Phillips, Jordan Hicks, drafted Lewis Cine, as well as two corners, one of them with star potential. Cam saw the need and addressed it, no question. And then there's Ryan Poles in Chicago, which I learned a valuable lesson this offseason, is that when breaking down first-time GM candidates, we don't really know the totality of influence that they had with their previous teams. But what we can do, and I certainly did, is say, okay, what organizations are they coming from? What notable moves did those front offices make? And whatever the results, they were there to witness it all. And if nothing else, they took away valuable knowledge being exposed to the process. Well, Ryan Poles has taught me that just because you come over from Kansas City after 13 years, much like a graduate from an Ivy League school, doesn't automatically translate that person to knowing what the hell it is that they're doing once you're, to borrow a phrase from Paramore, on your own in the real world. Ryan Poles inherited a quarterback that was selected 11th overall in the previous draft heading into his second year. His rookie season was not great. You lost Allen Robinson in free agency, but you still have Darnell Mooney. Now, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, the U.S. population is 332.5 million people. 99.9% of those people did not work for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yet we all knew, except Ryan Poles, we all knew that the number one priority for the Chicago Bears in order to see what it is that you truly have in Justin Fields is to do what? Get quality receivers. In free agency, their best signing was Byron Pringle. In the draft, they went defense with their first two picks, passing on George Pickens, who's been a stud at Steelers camp, and Alec Pierce, who as of right now, after the first release of the unofficial depth chart for the Colts yesterday, right now Alec Pierce is on the first team offense. They finally went receiver with the 71st overall pick, Velus Jones Jr., so they did nothing to help their second-year quarterback. And then on top of that, the Bears, they have a star player, Roquan Smith, second-team All-Pro the last 2 years, yesterday released a statement. I want out. That is, after putting the front office on blast, didn't address the need, and on top of that, you have a disgruntled player. Whereas Kwesi Adofo Mensah, the Minnesota Vikings, it's the exact opposite. In training camp, all the players, they're basically holding hands and singing Kumbaya. Good vibes over there. So as someone who was really hoping that we would sign Ryan Poles as the new GM of this team, I want to thank the Chicago Bears. Thank you, Bears organization, for saving the Minnesota Vikings from themselves.